Gemini, welcome to your reading for the full moon in Cancer. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Gemini for the full moon in Cancer happening on January the 13th. A lot of interesting messages coming through. Let's see what messages we have for Gemini, full moon in Cancer for Gemini, the Tower, of course. I mean, it is a time to let go, and it's a time to re-establish some things here that you may need to accept a little bit first. You know, Page of Cups in reverse, Tower in reverse. I wonder if you're hanging on to the old here because you haven't quite started to focus on what you want to create in its place. So in the absence of knowing, you may be hanging on. Page of Pentacles in reverse as well. I wonder if you've been feeling like I've really dropped the ball on some things here, and you may need a minute here to sort of allow yourself space to pick that ball back up and it's like you're letting go of some things and you're picking some other things back up. And it may really feel like you need a minute. When we see the Four of Swords in reverse, it can feel like I need some time to process this so that I accept that it's time to let this go and start to pick up some new energy here with this Page of Pentacles. And I wonder if there's something that you might be sort of neglecting in your own routines, your own self-care, your own, the physical body is coming through really as a big message here. Like, I wonder if you need to sort of adjust your own ways of taking care of yourself, like what you're eating, what you're consuming in terms of the social media stuff, or, where you're investing your time, your energy, your resources. Are you going for walks outside? Do you need to establish a routine where you're connecting more with nature instead of staying home? There really may be some big realizations that you need to sort of get on board with here, Gemini, so that you can sort of start to feel like you're moving forward. Knight of Pentacles coming up at the top of the reading saying, I need to start moving through my day differently. And Seven of Swords, there's no shortcuts here, my friend. You may have realized some areas that there have been a bit of this, I've dropped the ball a little bit here with the Page of Pentacles, and I need to really let go so that I can start to move through my day with a little bit more ease and harmony and less friction. But there may be some sabotaging beliefs here in the Seven of Swords where you might be thinking in a way that's not serving you also. You might be sort of downplaying some changes that need to happen and not really accepting them fully as a new way of moving through your day. There's a pattern that's shifting here with that Knight of Pentacles and the Tower. Even this page is saying, there's a catalyst happening to try to motivate you to sort of shift your priorities, and you may be convincing yourself it's not a big deal. Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck with the Queen of Cups. So I wonder how you've been feeling about, this almost gives me this message that you're spreading yourself too thin, and you need to pause on that. You may need to really trust how you're feeling about how much of yourself you're giving to others, and where you might need to really give to yourself. High Priestess coming out in the recent energy with the King of Pentacles on the bottom. So for some of you, this is really feeling like you need a holiday. You need to pull back on how much time you're spending working, and what your focus may be so focused right now on the sort of establishing security and feeling like you're working and moving towards things that are going to help you build, instead of sort of trusting that you can't really build anything if the physical shuts down. With that Four of Swords, I can't help but think if you don't take a break, something's going to make you. So it may be time to take a break here. Yeah, 5 of Swords in reverse for the upcoming energy with the Ace of Wands on the bottom. Wow, there may be some communication difficulties that you'll face coming up, where you might just find yourself saying, you know what, I'm exhausted and I actually don't have the mental energy to even discuss this. And that may be the thing that finally lets you say, I surrender, I accept. I accept that I need to move through this with a new intention, with a new motivation, with a new idea of where my will is at with something. I wonder if you're not really trusting yourself here. Hermit, I just wanted one more with that 5. Yeah, you may really be spreading yourself way too thin, and you might be going home and instead of resting, you're almost like isolating. Like you're like, I can't even answer the phone. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be left alone, because you're giving all day long. So by the time you get home, it's like anybody that needs you for something, that might feel like a huge imposition. And you might have just sort of pushed people away and not really wanting to interact with anybody. And I wonder if that's actually the ball that you need to start picking back up again, where you need to adjust things so that you don't feel so trapped in this pattern, seeing the Devil as what's the inner shift. You're setting yourself free from some patterns here that you may be on the fence on right now. Another 7 coming out. We saw the 7 of Swords, now the 7 of Pentacles in reverse, where I love the question here is like, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Like, do I need to stay in this high level of function all day if it's depleting and draining me, where I don't have anything else that I want to focus on because I'm working all the time? You know, and there may be a need here to pick up some things that are just for joy, that are just for you, where it's, you know, the 6 of Pentacles says I've got to bring things into balance where I'm not just giving all day, you know, and then finding myself just so depleted and exhausted by the evening that I'm hiding out. I think this is a message to say you got to get back out there. Lovers in reverse, right next to the Devil. These 2 cards are so interesting because they're kind of a juxtaposition of one another, but there's something about reestablishing relationships here that feel authentic, where I can't help but think there's a pattern of isolation happening here that this reading for the full moon is trying to get you to reflect on, to say, does this really serve me? Or am I, you know, just on the wheel? You know, am I just on that hamster wheel running all day? So I get home and I'm not going for walks. I'm not doing anything for fun. I'm not answering my phone. I don't want to talk to anyone. I just, you know, you might just be collapsing in front of the TV on the couch and then finding yourself asleep and exhausted when you wake up in the morning. So there's a pattern here that needs to shift. Queen of Swords on the bottom is asking you to look at the inner dialogue and the sense of knowing yourself, looking within to say, what balls have I dropped? What do I need to let go of? But what do I need to pick up again? Like, I can't help but feel like you're spreading yourself too thin, Gemini. And it's like the reading is saying that's not going to serve you at all. And it may actually be causing you to feel like it's time to reprioritize what's on your plate. 2 of Pentacles is a great energy because it says, I am juggling too much. I need to look at what's on my plate and start making some priorities. And I need to examine what feels right for me in terms of what's the truth. What's that inner truth? Queen of Swords, Ace of Swords. I can't help but think there's a mind shift that's going to accompany this more physical shift, where you're reprioritizing things even mentally, where you might have to look at something from a different perspective in order to see, does this serve me, or am I just depleting myself? Yeah, justice. You've got to come into some balance here. And 4 of Wands on the bottom with that, it's almost asking you to sort of step through into a new timeline, you know, a new way of feeling more motivated intentionally towards things that bring in some satisfaction and some joy. And it's like the Justice card is here to hold you accountable, to say it's up to you. No one's going to change this for you. You're going to have to hold yourself accountable to accept these towers that want to fall, where you might be hanging on and dropping the ball elsewhere. Really interesting message. And I can't help but think that you're hiding out a bit too. Like, you might be really high functioning all day, but then when you get home, it's like you just want to be alone, and you may be really disconnecting yourself even from others and yourself. Fork in the road, 7 of Pentacles in reverse. We saw that. Is the juice worth the squeeze? What is the next path? What am I needing to do in terms of looking at the foundation I'm building through my actions and my choices? And is there a different route I should take if I sort of allow things to go that are spreading me too thin? By the Book in reverse. Yeah, you're really sort of getting called out a little bit here, Gemini, saying like you can really only focus on what's on your side of the street. So if you're really taking care of others all day, maybe it's what you do for a living, or maybe for some of you, you've got a family that you're really focused on them all day. But what about you? There may be a move here that needs to happen. There may be a job here that needs less hours per week. There may be some things that you need to pick up again to reorganize your priorities and hold yourself accountable to a different standard, where you're looking at these patterns that aren't setting you free, that you might be feeling really trapped. No wonder the reading started with the Tower. Yeah, between worlds. You know, it's time to cross into something here by taking a new path at that fork in the road. And you've got the Here and Now card that's saying this has to happen now. Like, we've already probably been overdoing it for some time, Gemini. And it's interesting because Gemini energy really can struggle a little bit with picking a side on things. And I like the Justice card for you because it's, Libra energy coming in with that air energy to say, I've got to shift how I'm looking at something, and how I'm prioritizing things. And it may not be something that you come to with immediate acceptance, but it feels like it's necessary to look at with that Here and Now card as soon as possible. It's funny, you got believe in the impossible, just as I say possible. Bottom of the deck, the end of a tough cycle approaches. And so you are ending a cycle here that has, I think, been spreading you too thin. And you're not really able to show the world the real you, because I can't help but think that you're hiding out. I think you're busy, over functioning for others all day through whatever your focus is, your family, your work. And then by the time it's you time, you're just depleted and exhausted, and something is saying that's not going to work anymore. It's interesting. The bottom of the deck is nothing will come of this situation. Like, this is a sort of a really clear message of, I can't keep doing the same things and expecting a different result. So I need to change my patterns so that I can start to pick up some things that I may have dropped along the way, like my self-care, my focus on what I need. I mean, sometimes the Page of Pentacles in reverse can even say, like, your physical body may be experiencing deficits in minerals and vitamins, and you may need more sleep. You may need some exercise. You may need to really focus on the physical for a minute here. I wonder if you've been neglecting yourself a bit here, Gemini. Very interesting reading. I hope it's been helpful. And, for the full moon, it almost feels like it's time for you to examine these things from a perspective where you're willing to accept some change. Okay, my friends, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this was helpful, and we'll see you again for the next reading. Take care.